I love first-person shooters. They're like my gaming comfort food. I can pick up almost any FPS game and usually have a great time playing it. My favorites tend to be ones like Call of Duty, specifically the Black Ops series, but I also enjoy a good mix of Halo or Left 4 Dead 2. In fact, Half-Life 2 used to be my favorite game of all time before I developed my brain further and realized I don't have to take the opinion of what's popular on the internet. Now my favorite game is Black Ops 2, shout out to the GOAT. But when it comes to shooters, there is one section of the community that I am a little ignorant of. I haven't really played that many retro shooters. Now before I go any further, let me make a clear distinction. A boomer shooter is not a retro shooter, at least in the modern sense of the term. Boomer shooters are games I have played, like Dusk and Postal Brain Damaged. They invoke the feeling of a retro shooter by making you fight hordes of enemies in tight arenas with fast movement and weapon swapping. They are not retro shooters just because you put a PS1 filter over it, they are boomer shooters. This being said, not every retro FPS is created equal, nor do they play the same. The main one people are trying to emulate when making games like Dusk or Ultra Kill is Quake. It may take inspiration from the design of other shooters released around or before Quake, but in reality, they are trying to emulate shooters in that vein. Despite Quake becoming very popular and changing the landscape for FPS games, there were still several games and engines released that were trying to build off of the formula created by the original Doom. One of the engines to come out of this was the Build engine. The Build engine would go on to give us some iconic shooters, such as Shadow Warrior and Duke Nukem 3D. But today we're going to talk about the third classic shooter to come from the Build engine, and in my opinion the best, Monolith Productions' 1997 classic, Blood. Before I get into it, I should note that I'm playing the Night Dive Studios remake of Blood entitled Blood Fresh Supply. I actually enjoyed this remake so much that I bought the limited run special edition of it. This special edition has a load of free goodies that are honestly really cool, though the mousepad has seen better days. Anyways, onto the game itself. Blood is a game that is just oozing with personality. The whole game is themed after horror movies and occult vibes in general, leading to an experience that feels distinct from most other shooters at the time. You spend your time fighting cultists, critters, cultists, cadavers, more cultists, creatures, and get this, more cultists, through a ton of levels inspired by horror movies and horror tropes. Your arsenal also reflects this theme, giving the main protagonist, Caleb, a variety of interesting and unique weapons. There's aerosol cans that shoot fire, sticks of dynamite, voodoo dolls, Tommy guns, napalm launchers, all sorts of crazy things that will aid you in your bloodbath. On top of this, every gun has an alternate fire that changes depending on the weapon. For example, alt firing with the Tommy gun lets you spray everywhere, or alt firing with your shotgun will fire both barrels. There's also power-ups to pick up along the way that will aid you either actively or passively. There's traditional stuff like extra armor or invulnerability, but there's also some more unique ones. Beast Vision makes enemies brighter and stand out in dark areas. Jump boots allow you to jump higher and take 0 fall damage. Reflective shots make bullets bounce right back at enemies. And the most fun addition is Guns Akimbo, which allows you to dual-wield whatever weapon you are currently holding. Overall, the combat itself is very satisfying and genuinely extremely fun to do. Everything just feels tight and fast-paced enough to keep you engaged the whole time. Even when there aren't many enemies, or you've just killed all the enemies in a given area, it's just kind of fun to run and jump around the environment. Mechanically, it is a very fun and engaging experience. That being said, the difficulty does take a spike shortly after starting. It wouldn't surprise me if this game has some interesting challenge runs out there given just how damn hard it is. That also leads to one of my biggest gripes with the game, and a lot of classic shooters in general. The level design is sometimes just so damn confusing, man. There were several times where I had to reference a walkthrough so I could actually progress. I knew if I were to try and find the answer myself, I'd be stuck for hours just going in circles like a dumbass. I understand wanting to make a challenging level, but you also have to make it make sense. As for the story of the game, it's actually deeper than you may think. Basically, this wingnut, this goofball, this knucklehead McSpazatron known as Caleb, is brought back to life to rescue his girlfriend Ophelia. He met Ophelia while part of a cult called the Cabal, an evil organization that worships the demon Chernobog. He and Ophelia, along with fellow cult members Gabriel and Ishmael, are chosen, meaning they actually get to meet Chernobog. Upon meeting Chernobog, the demon tells him that they've failed, kidnaps Gabriel and Ophelia, and kills Ishmael and Caleb. The game starts with Caleb waking up in a coffin with only one thing on his mind: revenge. Caleb isn't just a mindless guy with a gun, however. He has a very fun, albeit psychotic, personality for a protagonist. He delivers one-liners and pop culture references in such an eerie yet silly way. What he may be lacking in the looks department, he more than makes up for with his charm. Over the course of the first episode, The Way of All Flesh, you tear through the Cabal on a quest to find Ophelia. At the end of the chapter, you finally catch up to the creature that took Ophelia, known as Cheog. I think that's how you pronounce it? Cheog? Chug? Chaug? I don't know. Cheog is the ruler of all gargoyles and has immense hatred for all chosen in the Cabal. To demonstrate this, he has crucified Ophelia and left her on the cross for Caleb to find. Caleb kills Cheog and burns Ophelia to cremate her before heading out to destroy the Cabal. The next episode, Even Death May Die, tasks Caleb with finding and killing Sheol, the monster that kidnapped Gabriel. Caleb travels across the Arctic as Sheol has her lair set way up in the north. Upon finding her lair, Caleb kills her and her many spider children, as she is a mother spider. He finds Gabriel wrapped up in a cocoon, but instead of freeing him, he tears out his heart and drinks his blood to gain Gabriel's powers. In the third episode, Farewell to Arms, Caleb sets out to kill Chernobog's last general, Cerberus. His journey takes him across France until he finds Cerberus's lair hidden behind some seals. Caleb makes his way inside and finds himself below the earth in a lava-filled cavern. He faces off against Cerberus and kills him, having finally avenged Ishmael. Now it's time to end his crusade against the Cabal. In the final episode, Dead Reckoning, Caleb travels across an unfamiliar land in an attempt to get back to the Hall of Epiphany. He fights across some stages until reaching a gate of flesh inside of a temple and fights his way through it to reach his destination. Once there, he confronts Chernobog by asking why all of the Chosen were killed. The demon tells him that he knew Caleb would come back to life and absorb their power, and now wants to use Caleb as a vessel to open the doorway between Hell and Earth. Caleb is obviously like No Lamau and kills the demon in an epic final confrontation. Upon the demon's death, a flash of light appears, and a man we can only assume to be some sort of holy figure praises Caleb for his good work. However, because this is an edgy 90s game, Caleb kills him and walks away like an absolute badass. Now, the version of Blood I'm playing includes the two bonus level packs, Cryptic Passage and the Plasma Pack. The Plasma Pack was created by Monolith Productions, but Cryptic Passage was created by Sunstorm Interactive, leading to Cryptic Passage feeling like more of a bonus, while Plasma Pack feels like an update. Both level packs come with some new episodes to play through that add a little extra bit to the story. Cryptic Passage shows Caleb travel around in search of an ancient and powerful scroll that is rightfully his. For not being made by Monolith, it feels extremely high quality and could be mistaken for an actual official extra level. The Plasma Pack shows Caleb hunting down some remaining Cabal members who are trying to create some new Chosen and is simply more blood. Both are pretty solid overall, but are completely superfluous to the Blood experience. There was an official sequel made called Blood 2: The Chosen, but it is a polarizing mess. While it has alright review scores overall, a lot of fans and critics were overall disappointed. Now, on top of being a solid single-player experience, there's also a multiplayer mode in Blood called Bloodbath. It's your standard multiplayer shooter affair, get the most kills or die trying. You can play on levels from the single-player campaign or choose from a variety of multiplayer-made maps. There's also an announcer for the match who adds quips here and there while you play, who is actually voiced by Jason Hall, who at the time was the CEO of Monolith Productions. There's also a lively modding scene for the original game. Being a build engine game allowed easy access for modders to create their levels, overhauls, texture replacements, and more for the game. The modding scene has been active since the 90s and continues to thrive to this day, with several popular add-ons getting full ports to the Night Dive Remake's Kex engine. If you've never played Blood, the Night Dive Remake is the way to do it. Fresh Supply has the entire package neatly bundled together and easily accessible, so there's no need to do any sort of fiddling with DOSBox or older hardware. In fact, if you've never played Blood, Go play it now. It's well worth your time, whether you're a horror fan, a shooter fan, or just a fan of video games in general. Thanks for watching.